My name is Tom Davis, for the record. I'm a resident of Mason County. I am going here to speak about 1639 and the sheriff's declaration not to enforce it. And I do this publicly only because the sheriff chose to do it publicly also. The sheriff's office makes a lot of discriminatory decisions, and I would have honored that had they just done so. But once they stand here and say, I am not going to do my job, that deserves a public statement from my part. To start with, and what should be the beginning and the end of the conversation, is that the sheriff has no authority not to enforce the law, period. That's the end of it. That should pretty much cover it right there. So what he's doing is he's engaging in an exercise of civil disobedience. Problem with that, and I respect that, if he'd like to go out on the street, lay down and kick, I'll join him. But he's doing this within the capacity of his position, which extends liability to the county and to his office. That concerns me. If he wants to do it privately, that's his own business again, and I would be glad to join him, but not publicly, not within his position. So I would say that the sheriff needs to rethink this. Now, the law doesn't go into effect, my understanding, until July 1st. Rethink this. Right now, all we have is a lot of talk. If on July 1st he has not retracted his statement and he intends to go ahead with that, I will completely discontinue all my association with the Sheriff's Department. I will surrender my volunteer badge and so on, because I want nothing to do with an agency that doesn't abide by the law. I spent 5 years of my life telling people in jail to abide by the law, and I'm not going to sit there and listen to excuses just because he happens to be the sheriff of this county. Also, I think what's worthy of consideration is that while 55% of the people in Mason County did in fact vote against 1639, 45% of the county voted for it. You can't just sweep those people under the rug. And the 55% of the people who did vote against it did not authorize the sheriff not to enforce it. They simply registered their opposition, which is their constitutional right. They exercised their constitutional right. That was not an authority for the sheriff not to enforce 1639. When you go into the service, you take an oath. And I take my oath seriously, as most people do, but not all people do. And the oath is, and it starts out the same both when you go into the military service, or you take your oath of office for an elected official, in this case for the sheriff, and it says, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and so on. Nowhere in that oath does it say you have the right to interpret what is in the Constitution. Nowhere. When you arrest somebody, and people get arrested all the time, and they say, I have constitutional rights, what does the deputies do? They say, tell it to the judge. And that's what the sheriff should do. Tell it to the judge. This is a process in place. If you try to jumpstart this process, if you try to go around this process, you do more harm, you do more damage than you do good. This is not a hero's actions. And I've seen some of the comments, which I usually don't comment on in here, but on the websites. This is not the action of a hero. This is someone who's engaging in civil disobedience at the county's expense. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Tricia?
I'd like to further what Tom, Pat Vanderhay, 111 Southeast Lupin Place, what Tom said. What about the rest of us that are concerned about our safety and health and welfare because of all these guns that are everywhere, and the statistics of all the mass shootings and killings, and it goes on and on and on and on. I have been against gun violence I'm 84 now, and for the last 60 years, I've been hoping that some sanity would occur so that we all could be protected. And not that just these people that are running around with a gun and openly displaying it. If I saw somebody somewhere in a mall that was openly displaying a gun, I'd start screaming out loud, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun," because you don't know what this idiot might do. And I don't think that our rights are being protected. We have rights too, to be safe and to be able to go out and just do ordinary life without being afraid of being shot down by somebody. And that's my input on that.
Thank you.